Imagine a small, iron-encrypted USB drive. It fits in the palm of your hand. It looks innocent. It looks like something you might find in a junk drawer, next to some old batteries and a tangled charging cable. But inside this specific drive, there are 7,002 Bitcoin. At today's prices, that is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, enough to buy a private island, enough to change the history of your family for 10 generations. But there is a catch. The drive is locked. It is protected by a password, and the man who owns it, a programmer named Stefan Thomas, lost the paper where he wrote the password down. He has 10 guesses. That is how the iron key works. If you guess wrong 10 times, the drive encrypts itself forever. The data scrambles. The money evaporates into the mathematical void. Stefan has already used 8 guesses. He has 2 left. Just 2. He sleeps with the drive. He wakes up in a cold sweat thinking about it. He has spent years staring at it, terrified to make a move. Because if his finger slips, or if his memory fails him one more time, he destroys a fortune. This is the side of crypto that nobody puts in the Super Bowl commercial. The marketing slogan is, "Be your own bank." It sounds empowering, doesn't it? It sounds like freedom. It sounds like sticking it to the man. No more fees, no more frozen accounts, no more asking for permission to use your own money. But we rarely stop to think about what being your own bank actually means. When you are the bank, you are also the vault. You are the security guard. You are the IT department. And you are the customer support. And here is the terrifying alt logic of self-custody. If you lose your password to your Wells Fargo account, you call a 1-800 number. You verify your identity. You answer a security question about your mother's maiden name, and they reset it. The system forgives you, but the blockchain does not forgive. The blockchain does not care if you are a good person. It does not care if you worked hard for that money. It does not care if you have children to feed. It only cares about the key. If you have the key, you are the owner. If you lose the key, you are a stranger. There is no manager to speak to. There is no password reset button. There is only the cold, hard silence of the code. For the first time in history, we have created a form of wealth that can be perfectly, irrevocably lost. If you bury a bar of gold in your backyard and forget where it is, someone can still find it in 1,000 years with a metal detector. The gold still exists. But if you lose your private key, the Bitcoin is still there, on the ledger, visible to the entire world. But it is mathematically impossible to touch. It is like seeing your money inside an indestructible glass vault and knowing that the door will never open again. This is the psychological burden of sovereignty. We say we want freedom, but freedom is heavy. Freedom means that every mistake is yours, and yours alone. Stefan Thomas, the man with the iron key, said something profound. He said, "I would just lay in bed and think about it. Then I would go to the computer with some new strategy, and it wouldn't work, and I would be desperate again." He is a prisoner of his own freedom. This brings us to the dark paradox of the trustless future. We spent the last few episodes talking about how middlemen, banks, governments, corporations, are the enemy. We talked about how they extract value, how they censor us. But middlemen serve a psychological function that we often ignore. They act as a safety net. Middlemen allow us to be imperfect. They allow us to be forgetful, careless, human. When you remove the middleman, you remove the safety net. You're walking on a tightrope without a harness. And it's not just about forgetting a password. Think about the $5 wrench attack. If you keep your millions in a bank and a criminal wants to steal it, they have to rob the bank. They have to get past the armed guards, the cameras, the time-locked vaults. It is hard. But if you are your own bank, and you keep your millions on a ledger in your nightstand. The criminal doesn't need to rob a vault. They just need to break into your house, tie you to a chair, and hit you with a $5 wrench until you give up the password. Cryptography can stop a hacker in Russia. It cannot stop a burglar in your living room. Being your own bank means you must also be your own army. And then there is the ultimate problem, the problem of death. If you die tomorrow, what happens to your crypto? If you have a bank account, your family presents a death certificate, and the bank transfers the money. It is messy, but it works. But if you have self-custody, unless you have set up a complex dead man's switch, or unless you trusted your spouse with the seed phrase, that money dies with you. It becomes a donation to the network. There are billions of dollars of Bitcoin sitting in wallets right now, belonging to people who are dead. Their families know the money is there. They can see it on the blockchain, but they can never touch it. This forces us to ask a difficult question. Is sovereignty actually what we want? Or do we just like the idea of it? Most people are not wired to be their own bank. We are wired to be community members. We are wired to share the burden of trust. The alt logic here is that maybe the fees we pay to the bank aren't just for the transaction. Maybe we are paying for the privilege of being able to make a mistake. We are paying for the right to forget. The crypto utopia promises a world of rugged individualists holding their own keys, trusting no one but the math. But look at the reality. Look at the people digging through landfills in Wales, trying to find a hard drive they threw away in 2013. Look at the people hypnotizing themselves to remember a password they created 10 years ago. That doesn't look like utopia. That looks like a nightmare. So, if you decide to walk this path, if you decide to take your money off the exchange and hold it yourself, just remember what you are signing up for. You are gaining absolute control, but you are losing the right to blame anyone else. When you look in the mirror, you aren't just looking at a customer. You are looking at the CEO, the vault, and the security guard. And if you lose the keys, there is no one coming to save you.
If this way of thinking makes sense to you, subscribe.